Before you jump into your fantasy basketball draft this season, make sure you get as much info as possible so you can dominate your draft and bring home that league championship. In this episode, we'll be dropping the top 100 NBA fantasy players for points leagues. This information should be valid for every major platform, including ESPN, Yahoo, and even Sleeper. We believe every NBA fan who plays fantasy football should also play fantasy basketball. So before we start, I just want to give you like some disclaimers, some important information. The first thing is that you can have access to a Google Sheets version of these rankings. All you have to do is go to believeinfantasy.com, join our Discord. It's available in one of those channels. The second thing is this method is imperfect. This method is imperfect, meaning that there is no right answer here, right? A lot of this is opinion based. I actually gather information from various sources, including Basketball Monster, hashtag basketball, RotoWire, Roto World, even from Fantasy Pros, right? All of this information I take, I kind of see what the industry is doing, and then I make my recommendation. And then the last thing, number 3, let's dominate this season. Let's make sure that we're active, connecting, like networking to make sure that people in the fantasy basketball community get the support that they need so we can win championships. If you listen into this, it's because you want to win this year, whether you're winning bragging rights or whether you're winning actually a cash prize, a trophy, whatever it is, we want to make sure that you are equipped to win your championship. So let's go ahead and jump into this list. Now, when I go through this list, I'm not going to be doing an in-depth breakdown of each player, but I will talk about a couple of players. So number 90, we have Dan Gafford. Number 91, we have Spencer Dinwiddie. At number 92, we have Miles Bridges. Miles Bridges, I just got a text from my man Antec in the Discord last night that I think there was a warrant for his arrest. Like, yo, like I'm shaking my head, yo. Like it bugs me out how guys be out here squandering their blessings by not being able to stay under control. So I don't know the whole situation, but I know that if Miles Bridges gets arrested, like this could tremendously impact his value. So I have him here, which is a little higher than many people, but depending on the news and what happens, that could change. So I just want to highlight that. Then we have D'Angelo Russell, Wendell Carter Jr., Jordan Clarkson at 95. At 96, we got Scoot. 97, Aaron Gordon. 98, Cameron Johnson. 99, Jabari Smith Jr. And rounding out the top 100, we have Austin Reeves. So Miles Bridges might be in court, and that might impact him. So we'll see what happens there. Let's go into the next section, 80 through 89. Number 80 is Ja Morant. He is actually a walking burning house. Like your man is on IG Live making all kinds of crazy mistakes. I'm hoping that the young man gets it together. Like Derrick Rose said, he's not there to babysit, but I hope having that veteran leadership in the locker room will help him to evolve as not just a player, but as a man. Like he's in his early 20s, so you want to give young people grace, but come on, man. We can't be out here like sacrificing our opportunities, man. And so many people are impacted by that. So I just want to make sure I noted that. 81, we got Tyus Jones. 82, we got Markelle Fultz. I'm really high on Markelle Fultz this year. I'm trying to grab him in drafts all over the place. 83, Marcus Smart. 84, Mark Williams. 85, Trey Jones from San Antonio. 86, Yusuf Nurkic with a new landing spot. I think that could work well for him. Klay Thompson, 87. And 88, we have Michael Porter Jr. And at 89, Derek White. Derek White, I was a lot higher on him. I still have some concerns with all of the trades and Drew Holiday, just what's going to happen there. But I do think that even as a backup point guard, if they don't play them together, that he'll still have some standalone value, just not as high as I once was on him. Now we're going to go into the 70s here. Chris Paul landed in a new city in Golden State, so we're really excited to see what he can do. At number 70, though, we have Tyler Hero. At 71, we have Terry Rozier, and at 72, we have Chris Paul. Chris Paul, even if he plays just 20 minutes, will provide tons and tons of fantasy value. And I think where he's going in drafts, the value that you get is definitely going to exceed the draft capital that you spent by a round at least, maybe a round or two. So for me, I am definitely looking for Chris Paul in those middle rounds. Last year, he averaged 11 points a game and 7.5 assists. So he's gonna like put in, he's gonna put up numbers, man. And it looks like they want to start him, but we'll see what happens as the season unfolds. Then at number 73, we have Jeremy Grant. Number 74, OG Anunoby. If you heard my voice before, you know how I feel about OG Anunoby. I have a fantasy man crush on this guy. I think when Fred VanVleet took off to go to Houston, that many people look to Scotty Barnes like, oh, this is where Scotty Barnes is going to make his leap. They look at Pascal Siakam. Oh, Pascal Siakam is like a second round guy. And I think if you are thinking like that, you're going to be sadly mistaken once this season kicks off. OG Anunoby is going to be the main beneficiary from VanVleet's departure. And I also believe that he's going to take another significant leap this year. And he's going to like really blow his ADP value out of the water in terms of the return that you'll get on your draft investment. So look to move him up even if you want to. I'm thinking about even moving him up a few spots. Number 75, Chris Middleton. Number 76, Andrew Wiggins. Number 77, Jalen Green. Number 78, Anthony Simons. And number 79, Clint Capella. So we're going to move into the 60s now. We have, starting off at number 60, we have Tyrese Maxey. Number 61, Jared Allen. Number 62, Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert is a player that has regressed year to year, especially since he got to Minnesota, but he still provides significant value for where he's getting drafted. So don't let, last year or the last couple of years impact you taking him if you can get him around his ADP. I would definitely take a look at him. If you can get a deal on him as well, get him later, then definitely don't pass up on Rudy. Rudy will have some value this year. 63, CJ McCollum. I'm getting lower and lower on CJ. The next time I do these rankings, I might move him down a bit. I just believe that, he's getting older. He's not the same player he was in Portland. He does have some value, but I do have some concerns. 64, we have Devin Vassell, who just signed a big contract. Jalen Williams, who a lot of people are super high on from OKC. 66, Franz Wagner, one of my favorite fantasy players. I'm on a record saying that he might very well be the best fantasy prospect out of Orlando. Like, he is the guy. He has, multiple position eligibility. Like, he is a fantasy gem, and you can get him for a reasonable price in fantasy drafts. Number 67, Jakob Poeltl. Number 68, Drew Holiday. And number 69, Russell Westbrook. Next up, we're going to get into the 50s. I get money. Money I got. I get it. Zion Williamson in the club, y'all. Yo, I'm sorry. Your man is like, he's having babies with adult film stars. Your man is on fire out here. Number 50 is Jordan Poole, though, who a lot of people are high on. I'm a little lower on him, but I think he'll have some value. I haven't seen him as the guy yet. And he's being billed as, the primary scorer and the centerpiece of the offense. I need to see it first. If it happens, then I'll adjust the rankings. But right now, I have him at 50, Alfred Şengün at 51, and then Mr. Zion Williamson at 52. Zion Williamson should be a second-round guy. He should even be a back-end first-round guy. But the fact of the matter is his lack of availability over the years, and also, just the fact that, he's wild for the night, man. He's like up and down. Like, I'm not trying to like weight shame him, but like he's like Oprah Winfrey in the 80s, yo. Like, he's slim one day, he's pudgy the next day. And I love Zion Williamson. I think when he plays, he should be like a back-end first-round guy for points leagues, early second-round guy. But he just hasn't been available. So until he gets out of the strip club, like, I'm not really banging with Zion Williamson yet. Number 53, Bradley Beal. Number 54, Scotty Barnes. 55, Miles Turner. Number 56, DeAndre Ayton. I think DeAndre Ayton is going to have a lot of opportunity in Portland. I'm excited to see what happens, him being a part of that young core with Scoot Henderson and Anthony Simons. So I think he's going to have tons of value this year. Nick Claxton, I love Nick Claxton. I'm higher on Nick Claxton than most. I think that he's going to have a great year. And then one of my Favorites. Oh my goodness. Walker Kessler at 58. Walker Kessler is somebody that I'm targeting in most drafts. You could get him, for on the cheap, right? But his value has been moving up on a lot of rankings, specifically on projections in the actual apps. But Walker Kessler is somebody you want to make sure you take a look at in points leagues and category leagues, but definitely in points leagues. Like the fact that he blocks so many shots, and if you're using standard scoring on most platforms, blocks are going to be heavily weighted, man. So like you look at it like, oh, he only averaged, 7 or 8 points, but if he's getting 10 boards as well, and then also he is actually getting 2 or 3 blocks, like his value is going to be out of this world. So for me, Walker Kessler is a guy that I'm really high on, and I'm targeting in just about every draft that I can get him. Last year, he averaged 11.2 points per game, 10.3 rebounds, and 2.7 blocks. And I think also he chipped in with about a half a steal. So the steal is really not a big deal. But the blocks, rebounds, and points, come on, man. You got to take advantage of that. And then rounding out the 50s is Brandon Ingram. I have concerns about Brandon Ingram's health, so I'm not as high on him as I once was back in the day, but it is what it is. Then we get to the war zone. Chet and Wemby. This is going to be a battle for years. This could be, Bird and Magic level. They have similar builds, similar skill sets. You know, I am way higher on Chet than I am on Victor. Um, but I wouldn't mind grabbing Victor as well. The issues I have around Victor is Spurs culture, resting back to backs, all of that kind of stuff. Chet, I think they are going to unleash this year. But at number 40, we have Wemby. 41, we have Vucevic. 42, we have DeRozan. 43, Banchero. 44, Chet Holmgren. I'm trying to grab Chet Holmgren wherever I can, and I'll pay a little extra for him. 45, Kuzma. 46, Porzingis. 47, Josh Giddey. 48, Jamal Murray. 49, Zach LaVine. We're going to get into the 30s now. We have Evan Mobley. Now, I have Evan Mobley here in red because I am way higher than the industry on this, right? So he's way lower on most people's rankings. So I want to make sure that I'm offering you value, but I'm not just pulling crap out of the air, right? I'm not just out here making stuff up like, oh, I think he's 30. No, I'm high on him because I believe he can be like the next Tim Duncan. And this is the year I believe he'll make that leap. However, I want to make sure that when I'm giving this input, I let you know that a lot of people think differently. You know what I'm saying? People in the fantasy space, analysts that I connect with. If you look at our playlist, we've had people on from Yahoo, we've had people on from NBC Sports, and a lot of people are a little lower than I am. I went, balls to the wall on this one. You know what I'm saying? Like the top is off, topless. The boobies is out, hair blowing in the wind. Like I am all in on Evan Mobley. So I would grab him here, maybe even a little earlier, depending on the size of the league. So I got him at 30. And again, that's in red because I'm way higher than most in the industry. 31, Mikal Bridges. 32, Jaren Jackson Jr. 33, Jalen Brunson. 34, Paul George. I think Paul George is getting slept on. Do I think he'll remain healthy? Maybe. We'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, we can't predict the injuries. And unlike Kawhi, I think he will actually play. You know what I'm saying? I think Kawhi sometimes it's like, I just need to get ready for the playoffs. But again, I'm not trying to question his, the validity to his injuries. I'm just saying like Paul George seems like he's a little more accessible than Kawhi. 35, we got Darius Garland. 36, we got Lauri Markkanen. 37, Desmond Bane. 38, Jimmy Butler. And 39, Kawhi Leonard. Now we're going to head up into the 20s. And we got at number 20, we got LeBron James. 21, we got Pascal Siakam. 22, Fred VanVleet. 23, we got Julius Randle. And 24, we got James Harden. It's a circus, man. It's literally a circus with him. Like he called out Daryl Morey when he was in China. Didn't report the first day of camp. Now he came to camp. Listen, I love James Harden. James Harden has been one of my favorite players for years. But the way his career has kind of taken this like dramatic turn, and keyword being dramatic, and it's become a circus show. a circus act, a three-ring Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Madhouse, like I'm out on James Harden. So you getting him here might be even a little high. You know what I'm saying? That might be a little high here. But if he plays, he will exceed this value. So I am not really as high on him now as these rankings would indicate. I haven't updated in a week or two, but yeah, man, I just have tons of concerns around him. So feel free if you grab the Google Sheets to move him down a little bit. I might likely update these before the season starts and do another video. If you guys want that, just let me know in the comments and I'll do an updated version the week before the season starts. Number 25, we have DeJounte Murray. 26, Karl Anthony Towns. 27, Jaylen Brown. 28, Bam Adebayo. 29, De'Aaron Fox. This episode is presented to you by BetOnline. Football is back, and BetOnline is your number one information source for all your sports wagering info with all the up-to-the-minute stats, news, scores, and matchup breakdowns. Get the latest game odds, spreads, and totals from the NFL and college football at your fingertips with BetOnline's real-time updates on statistics, news, and odds. From week 1 all the way to the college football playoff and Super Bowl, BetOnline gives you access to the best football promotions and contests available anywhere online. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Remember, use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts. Moving right along into the top 20 here, we have Anthony Davis at 11. Listen, I love Anthony Davis in real life when he plays, which he doesn't play. So really, I don't like him for fantasy. So you could take the risk. I don't really go for Anthony Davis. It's almost like against my religion. I'm a little allergic to it. But I do know that when he is healthy, he is one of the top players in fantasy basketball. That is undeniable. So depending on what you're trying to build with your points league team, you can consider it, but I don't like headaches. So I'm going to stay away from him. Domantas Sabonis at 12, Trae Young at 13, Kyrie at 14, Devin Booker at 15. At 16, Anthony Edwards. I'm a lot lower on Anthony Edwards than most, but I do love Anthony Edwards, and I do believe he will have first-round value this season. I just don't want to draft him as a first-round player this season. He hasn't done it yet. I believe he's making the leap, but I don't want to get ahead of the game. And most of the projections on the platforms like Yahoo, Sleeper, and ESPN are saying you should draft him like 8 or 9. So be very careful with that. Again, if you want to take him there, go for it. That's fine. Me personally, I wouldn't. I would hold. I think there's other players that I'd be looking at 8 or 9. Like I see people drafting Anthony Edwards before people like LaMelo Ball in points leagues. And for me, that's just not the move. At number 17, we have Damian Lillard. 18, Donovan Mitchell. And at number 19, Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham has been like the talk of this channel for weeks. And again, I am way higher on him than the industry, like way higher. So this is something to take note of. Probably like, I want to say 15 to 17 spots higher than most people in the fantasy basketball industry. So I am going out on a limb. If I'm wrong, I'll come back at the end of the season and be like, yo, my bad. I was wrong. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think having Monty Williams there, like a proven veteran coach, is going to help him to develop as a young point guard and also as a blossoming superstar. I think he's going to have an amazing fantasy season. He has a fantasy-friendly game. Don't sleep. This is somebody that I would reach for. If you could get him at the top of the third, middle of the second, even, I would go for it. He's going as late as the 4th round in some spaces. You know what I'm saying? Later, back of the third, top of the 4th. Like, I'm reaching for him if I could grab him. So, Cade Cunningham, I am all in. And now let's get to our top 10. Top 10, no surprise. Number 1, we got Nikola Jokic. Number 2, Luka Doncic. Number 3, Joel Embiid. Number 4, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Number 5, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Number 6, Jason Tatum. Number 7, Tyrese Halliburton. And number 8, again, someone I am way higher. I'm way higher than most. Like, again, I got to let you know. That's why I'm letting you know. Don't go out there like, Robin told me to do it. I'm letting you know that most people think I'm crazy with this one. But I believe Kevin Durant is going to have an insane fantasy basketball season. There are some rankings that have him in the same neighborhood as Devin Booker. Listen, guys, Kevin Durant is still, like he says, you know my name? I'm Kevin Durant. Come on, man. What are we talking about? Where they do that at? Where is Kevin Durant like going at 25 and 26 in drafts, 20th? Like, I can't do it. Like, I'm not ready. Already I sacrificed putting Cat down there. But Durant, if he's healthy, there's no way that he's going to be, in the 20s in terms of his value at the end of the season. So for me, I am drafting Kevin Durant in the first round if I have to. I might move LaMelo up over him, if I update these rankings. But definitely don't sleep. Kevin Durant could bring you tons of value. So if you get him at where he's going in most projections, you could probably get him in the second round, and I would strongly recommend. But if you want to reach for him for the first, you'll be with me. I'm not afraid to do it. I'll pull the trigger. Number 9 is LaMelo Ball, and rounding out the top 10 is Steph Curry. I wanted to make sure that we just came back to this. I want you to remember that you can get this Google Sheet for free in our Discord. So all you have to do is go to believeinfantasy.com and you'll give some information and you'll get an email with the link. It's really, really easy, but we want to make sure that you are in the Discord so you can get this Google Sheet and then make your own personal adjustments to it, right? So you might want to make your changes, and it's always good to just have a tool like that. And once you have access to the Discord, you'll get any of my updated rankings. So if you want me to update this before the season starts, please let me know in the comments and I'll gladly do that. Number 2, get unbiased input before making major moves this season, right? Like, get people who don't have a dog in the fight, people who don't really know your league mates. If you ask your league mates for input, they're going to give you input that will benefit them, even if they're not, involved in a trade. They might say something to make you weaker or make another player stronger. So come to a place like our Discord before you make a big trade. Share it in the trade channel. Hey guys, what do you think? People are making mistakes right now. They drafted their teams a week ago and they're making ridiculous trades. Do not make a trade unless it goes through Believe in Fantasy. Do not make a trade. Do not, make a major roster decision without it running through our community. And number 3, you get what you put in. If you sit there and wait for stuff to happen this season, you're going to probably lose. But if you're taking initiative, if you're putting your best foot forward, if you're active in the Discord, like if you're also giving your opinion, even if your opinion is not what the person uses, please voice your opinion. Say hey, I don't think you should do that. We can have differences of opinion on this stuff, still be respectful, and still have a good time. So those are 3 things that I really wanted to make sure I left you with. So that way, as you move into the season, you have the support needed to guarantee the playoffs and quite possibly bringing home the fantasy championship. And that's just how we do at the Believe in Fantasy community. Now, if you need help, if you need advice, drop your questions in the comment section below. I promise I will answer every single comment for this episode. And now that you are prepared for your fantasy basketball draft, play the waivers, set your lineups, and join the Discord, you freaking fantasy nerd. This episode was presented to you by Bet Online, where the game starts.